anyone who's on with us. It appears zero. And zero with us in person, so. I hope everyone had a good 4th of July.
Let's get right through everything.
Okay, here we go.
No discussion.
Order, that's all set. Points of pride.
Sure, I have two that I'll share. This really spring is coming into summer. There's been a lot of building and a lot of planning and zoning issues, and I just wanted to highlight the work Karen's done as we transition to our temporary building inspector, who seems to be working pretty well as when John was out. So that, and last week was of course busy for the tax collector's office, the 3 of them, as they took in taxes. Taxes were due last week on the 1st. This week has certainly quieted down. So those are the 2 I'll raise tonight.
I'll just note that the Historic Society had a reading of the Frederick Douglass speech here in Town Hall on Saturday, and there were a lot of our townspeople, including our local senator and her husband, Stephen, as well as her son, reading paragraphs from the speech, as well as many other people from town. And I'd just like to thank Neil for coming in on a Saturday and setting up all of the technology so that the program could be handled very successfully.
Yeah, it looked like a great event. I'm sorry I couldn't be here. All right, so we can buzz through all of our many administrative things, and we have no one on the phone, so we don't have to do roll call. So first up is approval of the consent agenda.
Yeah, I'll move we approve the consent agenda of July 6, 2021.
Second.
All right, that's second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. I had one note on the public meeting minutes to be nitpicky, only because my little spiel at the beginning was not caught on film.
No, it wasn't, and I couldn't understand.
So I wanted to clarify just the beginning piece, just that I noted their meeting had to be adjourned. The school board's meeting had to be adjourned because things got, I forget the phrase I used, I think sort of out of hand during public comment. And so
Okay.
that was just the first piece of it.
That's what I thought it was, but
Yeah, it was, that whole thing was just not caught, which is probably,
No.
for the best. But otherwise, that was it.
okay.
Anyone else have any comments in the minutes?
So with that amendment, we approve the public meeting minutes of June 21, 2021.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next up, we have, all right, we've got first set of non-public meeting minutes. This is session 1 from June 21st, 2021.
I'll move them and note they're sealed.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All right, second one is approval of non-public meeting minutes, session 2, June 21st, 2021.
I'll move them and note they're also sealed.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Next one, session 3 from June 21st, 2021.
Similarly, I'll move such and again note it's sealed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Last one, next one is the non-public meeting minutes. This is session 4, June 21st, 2021.
Again, I'll move it and note that they're sealed.
All
Second.
right. All those in favor? Aye. We'll
Aye.
finish this, then we'll get Anna. All right, finally, approval of non-public meeting minutes, session 5, June 21st, 2021.
So moved and note they're also sealed.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Anna, are you with us? Almost.
Let's see.
All right. I guess we can start First up is fair parking.
Right. And I didn't.
Okay,
So
and some of those don't need to be in for certain days.
that's right. So that's why
Got it?
that's why this was to try to keep us. Do it. Do this.
Okay.
So on the first one, people that signed up, and once they've been given a day, they don't go back in. So it's number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8.
What was it?
2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. Yeah, probably all that's important for the minutes is.
I just, oh, okay.
Is that what
You can draw.
Okay.
Is that what I'm doing? So is that what we're putting in here is just 2, 3?
2, 3, 4, 5 for this time.
I will do each day separate.
All right, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. Jeff, you want to pick?
Number 4,
Or.
Girls
So Hopkinton
basketball.
High School girls basketball.
All right, now they're out.
they're out and everybody else is in.
Everyone in but 4.
Okay.
On Friday, Neil. Do we not do it on Friday? It was on the application, I think.
Yeah. Friday is.
Oh, okay.
So
do
we
it.
start with the most, well,
Got it.
this year
Close.
Sunday became most popular, but usually
All right, so we're picking for Sunday here?
this is.
Ken, honors.
Five,
5,
girls soccer.
girls soccer.
All right.
Girls are killing it today.
All right, so
For Monday, would be 2,
4, 7.
7 and 8.
2, 7,
4,
and 8.
7, and 8.
Well, 4 is out, right?
4 is out. so
Okay.
it's 2, 7, and 8.
All right, here we go. 8.
So it's Red Hawks football on Monday,
Okay. So is this last, not least, is Friday?
Friday.
Oh, and then Thursday. Okay. Jeff, you-
4 is already out, so it's 2 and 7.
2.
2.
Yes.
All right, boys, getting on the board.
And then.
So then-
Thursday.
7, is 7 the only one left for Thursday, right? Everybody else has picked a day already?
Right, yeah. Well, let's see. Yeah, that's right. 7.
So it's 7.
ISA.
Okay.
Thursday. Great.
Very scientific process. All right. Excellent.
Well done.
Thank you, Neil, for making the numbers and organizing this.
Sure.
I know. Okay, so next up is refuse disposal update. Oh, good.
So the Refuge Disposal Committee put together that new draft updated ordinance. So really, it's for review, and then if you want to move forward with adopting it, usually what happens is there's a joint public hearing with the Webster and Hopkinton Select Boards, a joint public hearing, and then go from there. So they've worked on that, they've looked at fees and all of that. And
So is one of them, I'm just trying to find, are we looking at, is there one that is like a red line? I'm just not seeing that.
Yeah.
they did not provide a red
Oh.
line, and they changed enough. Yeah, this came from them, so I included the old one, but I did not. include the red line version.
Okay. Is Anna, are you with us? Can you hear us? Because don't we need to vote to let her?
Muted. Oh, yeah. I moved.
Hey, hey, can you guys hear me?
Hi, we can hear you. We're gonna vote right now.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so Jeff's moving that we allow you to meet with us over Zoom, and I second it. So, I think, yes, roll
Yes.
call, yes.
Yes.
Jeff, yes, okay. Anna, you're in.
Thank you. Thank you. Apologies for being late, and I may have internet connectivity issues. So
Oh,
if I
Stephen,
have to go, I'll just
All
go.
no worries.
You
Thanks for,
you were here earlier than Stephen.
that's true.
I'll take it.
Okay, so,
So I wonder if refuge disposal, we should set up a joint meeting with the Webster Select Board, not necessarily a public hearing, and have the refuge disposal committee come in and present it all. It's probably easier to do it all.
that
at
might be,
once.
yeah, that sounds helpful.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that would be great.
Neil, when I was looking at it, so you can just pass this on. I thought the septic waste disposal fee was unchanged from whenever the last version was done. And it's considerably less expensive than Concord or out of district. And in our budget for this year, we did note that the tipping fee charged in 2021 will be increasing. So I think that's a significant issue that they should address.
Is that the tipping fee or the septage fee?
I think as far as revenues, it's lumped together.
They're in the same line, but they're,
Yeah, and that's all the notes said.
other thing I wonder too is if the fees should be on a separate schedule and not part of the ordinance so that those could
Yeah,
be changed.
So they can be updated more regularly,
Yeah.
without having to go through.
That certainly makes sense.
I mean,
I'll start with,
I personally don't understand the $1 for a sticker. It costs more than that to make them, probably.
skip those two
Okay.
at this point.
There.
Okay, so are we good on that?
Mhm.
Yeah, those are good. All right, last thing under new business is community power.
Sure, and I had asked Neil to add this to the agenda. Hopefully, everyone on the board has had a chance to read the article in the current issue of New Hampshire Town and Country from the Municipal Association, which relates to community power and the experience in Keene. But what community power is, based on the claims from its supporters, it's municipal electricity aggregation, which can bring many benefits to its users, including lower electric rates, cleaner energy, and price stability. This is claims from supporters. And following passage of House Bill 315, which was known as the Community Power Bill, last week, Neil and I had a Zoom call with representatives of Standard Power and Good Energy. Their company is promoting the concept of community power throughout New Hampshire, including in Keene and in other parts of the country. The concept of municipal electric power aggregation means the current electric utility, Eversource or Unitil in our case, would continue to be the distribution company maintaining the poles, wires, metering, and billing, but instead of the utility being the default provider for those Hopkinton customers who haven't migrated to a competitive provider, Hopkinton, through Standard Power and Good Energy, will become the provider for those users who don't opt out of the arrangement. And Standard Power and Good Energy are offering to work with a committee of Hopkinton citizens at no cost to the town to develop a community power program, which, if developed, would still require approval at town meeting as well as by the PUC. At this point, I'm not saying this isn't a good idea, but rather, does the board think it's worthwhile to put up a notice to potentially get a committee of interested citizens, Standard Power and Good Energy, on whether or not community power is a good idea for Hopkinton, and if so, to develop a potential program. And with that, what I'm sure is very brief and confusing explanation, Neil, did you want to add anything?
No, I can. Matters. No, I think that covered basically what we went through.
Okay. Okay, and what I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's a good idea or a bad idea, it's just, do we want, Neil to put out a notice for potential volunteers to get on a committee to look at community power or not? Any questions or thoughts that I can,
But I do think it's worth trying to put a this committee.
and I'm not suggesting that I've heard from any individuals in town that they want to do this. As I said, Neil and I only spoke to representatives of companies, and we know it's starting to bubble up in other towns.
I don't see any harm in a committee to look into this more.
Jeff, did you have any thoughts?
No, I just hope that the committee would explore not just the cost aspect, but the repair, outages.
That would stay with the utility. That would not be Kelly Wick of Community Power. The Community Power would only be in effect, the default provider of the electricity. You can sort of look at it as the utility is maintains the highway, and the electrons or the cars going over the highway are what would be provided by Standard Energy or. Anna, did you have any questions or comments?
No, I think it's worth looking into. Committee sounds like the right way to go. Thanks for digging into it a little bit.
Then I guess I'll make a motion that we ask Neil to put out a notice to see if we have interested citizens who would like to be on a committee to look into community power in Hopkinton.
Second,
We have to do a roll call since Anna's on the phone. So Stephen,
yes.
Ken,
Yes,
I mean, yes, Jeff,
Yes,
Anna.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks for looking into that, Ken
and thank Neil too.
and Neil. Any town administrator updates, Neil?
Just a reminder that the board's meeting with the fair tomorrow morning at 8:30. And next Tuesday at 8 a.m. begins the tours of departments. I will confirm which one by the end of the week we're doing next week. I have a meeting, or in the process of having a meeting with the new superintendent next week too. So began
Nice.
officially last week. So.
Is the meeting tomorrow at the usual place at the fairgrounds?
It's at the fair office.
Okay.
So if you go in off Kearsarge and around,
Mm-hmm.
kind of park near the grandstands, and their office is right there.
Okay.
And hopefully it won't be pouring this year.
I think they're running fried dough tomorrow.
One can help.
I'm going to be very disappointed
I think
if I believe that and show up.
it's true.
Any other updates?
I think that's it.
All right. Does anyone have,
an attendee on
what's that?
it, one other attendee. Yeah, my boss.
Oh,
The attendees and
oh,
we're the panelists.
Got it.
okay. Does anyone have anything under other?
Yes. Well, the first one is financials.
Yes, we're going to do a full 6-month report at your next meeting.
Okay, I've got a budget committee meeting in 8 days. So can I have it prior to that meeting?
Sure.
And can it be distributed to the budget committee?
Yes, Deb's off this week, so we probably won't have revenues. Do you want May or do you want?
Whatever the most recent information is. And I'd noticed that in 15 days, there's senior lunch at Elm Brook. Is that going to be the select board and school board doing that
It
luncheon?
is not, it is the Human Service Advisory Committee and the Senior Recreation Council doing it as a celebration. I think it's a surprise. It won't be now, for Paula and Marilyn to thank them for having done the meals. And yes, and they have a rain date too.
And just to keep it on your radar, I'm sure you haven't gotten to it, looking at health insurance options.
It is on the list, yes.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Anyone have anything for other? Anyone else? So we have 6 minutes until 6 o'clock. So we also have public forum on the agenda. Does anyone from the public have anything to talk about besides the 6 o'clock public hearing on the alcohol ordinance? Okay.
I just note the town looks good with the decorations. The Recreation Committee, I think working with the Chamber of Commerce. Very nice, along with the Rotary flags. You get an ad in there.
It's nice.
You mean all 500 of them?
Well, we have 5 minutes until 6, so.
I can always come up with some other questions. What's the status of the rescue squad building?
No,
I guess when we get around to visiting the fire station and talking to Chief Yale, that should be an area you can explore.
Rescue squad still has control of it, don't they? It's not empty yet, is it?
it's not empty.
Do we have a key?
What was that?
Do we have a key?
We probably have access to the code. I think it's a code.
And what is the, if you've thought about it, what the process is for applying for the American Rescue funds?
The first thing is to fill out the initial application. And we receive the first payment, and they're still doing workshops and things on exactly what it can be expected.
So we can get the first payment before we show how we're.
Believe it or not.
Can I add one?
Yes, I think
Okay.
I'm winding down.
Okay. Any further thought as to subdividing Horseshoe Tavern and Bates?
Yes, so the surveyor.
Okay, but no, the surveyor hasn't come back to the town yet.
Surveyor has not scheduled a date.
Okay, thank you. Was that on your list?
Actually, it was not. Let me put it there. for next
Yeah.
time.
3 minutes.
Next time we have a public hearing, it's going to be
5:45.
2 minutes.
If I was on video, I would give you a tour of the beautiful lodge that I'm in right now and the view of the mountains.
Oh, that would be a delightful tour.
That's
How
all
are
right.
your travels, Anna?
I'll share photos when I come back. Smooth, great.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No problems.
Where did you say you are, Anna?
I am in Montana.
You know,
Hmm.
Wonder if they're getting hit by the heat wave, same as the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I missed a few in here. I don't know. I don't think you did. All right, counting down, one more minute according to my clock. Anna, are you still with us?
I'm here, but my
Okay.
internet is in and out.
Okay.
Gave you the whole family recognition.
All right, 6 o'clock. So
oh, yeah,
I'm going to open the public hearing on our updated town ordinance. So I don't know if anyone on the board has anything they want to say. I don't.
All right, Neil, all the department heads that are affected have had a chance to review it.
And back and forth.
Yep, good.
Okay, so if anyone else on the board, you guys good?
Here from the public.
All right, anyone from the public? Do you want to speak on the alcoholic beverage open container ordinance?
I do. I shared the documents with the Recreation Committee last week when we had a meeting, and,
Can I just, will you just say your name and address?
oh, yes, sorry,
Thank you.
Louise Carr, Berlin to the Road.
Thank you.
Their first concern, or actually the main concern, was alcohol versus beer and wine. They just felt people have a tendency of hard liquor that it affects them differently than drinking, a glass of wine or beer. So they're just concerned about starting out with policy alcohol versus, starting out soft with beer and wine. So that was really their main concern. Because people can, though they're supposed to be monitored, the glass is gonna look like, a glass of soda also. So I think it's just a little harder for someone to monitor that. And I think hard liquor affects people differently.
Okay. Any other suggestions from the rec department or committee? Sorry.
And perhaps, and I think Neil mentioned it, like a checklist, like a flow list of, because people, I don't think, understand the time that some of this stuff is gonna take. So, they have to get the rental application, and then, they have to get a permit from the town, and then the liquor commission, and then it all comes back with again, and you got 4 departments that you sign off on, and you guys meet twice a month. So it could be a lengthy process, and I don't know if people understand, they may think, oh, next month I want to do this, or even 6 weeks that it's going to take. I think people might get frustrated, but if you just kind of give them the heads up, that these are the steps you got to take, maybe they will prepare a little sooner.
Neil, do you have an expectation as to how long an application would take to get approved if you face no problems?
with no problems, it could probably be fairly quickly, and it could be tentatively approved pending state approval. How long that takes is
Get the state, right, the state.
is a different,
Yep.
and that's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
So, but I would think that 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Probably the town portion could be. And we will put together a flow sheet once it's.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's easy.
To give to people, so,
Right.
basically a checklist,
Yep.
so they don't miss anything.
And I just had one other question, so the $50 fee, just a suggestion, could that go into like a maintenance fund for the particular area that are being rented? Since we don't have really maintenance for particular areas set up. Because they have potential of being used more. So like the
Don't-
gazebo.
Don't we charge a fee to rent the cabins or the,
So it would have to be, it would require a town vehicle for those funds specifically to go somewhere else. Like the rental of the Slusher Center goes into the Slusher Center Special Revenue Fund, so.
But then we go back to go into the operating cost, right, to offset the operating cost?
No, that's used for different payments.
Oh, just maintenance.
Specifically at the Slusher Center. We approve it to be able to be expended.
Yep.
for whatever it's used.
Are you all set, please?
I think I am.
Okay.
I just have something to think about with regards to the rental applications.
And Paula, will you just say your name and, that's right.
Paula Simpkins, I'm here with Recreation Director.
Okay, thank you.
So currently, the rec department will accept applications for the Slusser Center, the Kimball Cabins, and we take a deposit for that use, and also charge a rental fee. And the deposit too is, people don't clean up properly or something gets broken.
it's like a security deposit.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, right now, the gazebo is it's a strange application. I, have people fill out that application so I can keep an internal calendar of what's going on, because people will request, can I have my kid's birthday party there? I want to have a wedding. And so I just want to make sure I'm aware of any conflicts. So no, the farm market is going on at that time. You want to go later in the afternoon or something like that. So I keep that calendar so I can advise the public. We don't take an official application, we don't take a deposit, and we don't charge a rental fee. And that would be the same as somebody just asked to use the outside of the cabins because they're public space. So you could get into a situation where people want maybe just to use the outside of the cabins, put a pop-up tent in the cabin tent, not use the inside. So we would be taking a fee or a deposit in those two situations, which I think then if we're holding events, we have a clause in there about the cleanup. If we don't take a deposit or we take a fee for these spaces, then, it's going to be hard to enforce some sort of penalty if it's not cleaned up afterwards.
So I'm asking out of ignorance.
Okay.
It's a comment I make here very frequently. If I wanted to reserve the outside, I can do that if I give you money. Is that correct?
I will tell you what I know is already there, and tell you that I don't see any conflicts at that time, but be advised, like at the cabins, you could have people dragging their canoes in, you could have dog walkers come through, whatever event you're having. So I always let people know there are other uses that will be going on that could be going on at that time. So if you're hoping to have a birthday party, you might have somebody trying to launch a kayak in the middle of it, or fishing off the dock. And it could happen. So.
But
So I think
if I wanted to have a cookout and Sabrina wanted to have a cookout and we showed up at the same time, it's just my people are bigger than hers and that's it for her, right?
You're gonna make some new friends, is what you're gonna do.
But I guess I'm just trying to make sure, there's no way to reserve the outside space.
Correct, unless
Okay.
you wanted to change that.
And it's the same thing at the gazebo.
Correct. You can only advise, and so nothing's stopping somebody from showing up and having a birthday party during a concert or during a
Right.
farm market, but it's
Okay.
public space. for-
So, I mean, do we need to consider that? I mean, would you recommend that we do outdoor reservations and get a security deposit, even if it's a $10 rental fee? But we want a $100 security deposit to clean up. I mean, we had the superintendent's thing over there a month or so ago, and I'm sure those people cleaned up. I have no worries about any of them, but, not everybody has the same level of respect.
Well, I think maybe that's up to you if you want to go down that route. Neil, I don't know if, make it across the board, let's make it, the same for all the outdoor spaces. Or if you just want to apply it if somebody's doing an actual event and serving alcohol, if we're going through the process of this application. I think if they're going through the process to serve alcohol, we definitely should be taking some sort of deposit and fee. They're having an event. So I don't know where that falls into what we can and cannot do in those outside spaces as far as rentals.
Well, that'd be a separate,
from the alcohol, but
Yeah.
I think we could do that.
So I could start taking applications for everything. It kind of makes it easier because it's harder to explain to them, well, I can be a general idea. I'd rather
Right.
just say, this is your time, but then, and then it goes on a calendar that's public, and then, so if somebody else shows up
Right.
on there, they could pull up the calendar and say, no, I have it, from this time. And then the other thought is, just on the Bates building, just wondering who would be responsible for taking those applications for events. Does that fall, is that something the rec department would want to take on as well, because we're doing the other town, and also town hall, and if you're doing events here, does the town administrator just handle that? Do you want it all filtered in one place? It doesn't matter to me, I'm just bringing these things up.
If the Bates building's leased, then the leaseholder
But we still have the bottom floor.
and, at the bottom, but we probably would, it's not the best place.
Have you met those people? Locked in that vault down there? The wine's coming out.
And if you do a rental application here that we handle internally, that I think probably makes a lot more sense to keep that separate and do it here, because Robin tracks all the meetings and everything that goes on in one place, so.
So I guess we should put on for our next meeting, maybe a discussion of the need for rental applications or reservations, or however we want to phrase it. And put that on so that we give Paula some guidance. Paula gives us guidance.
Just input.
Have there been, Paula or Neil, instances where people have had events and then you wished, or we wished we had a deposit to deal with cleanup or any sort of damage?
I haven't noticed damage. I do hear periodically from the grounds crews. I think a lot of times Tom cleans it up and goes on his way. But I hear more about the fields, I think, than any other gazebo or cabins. But
Okay.
I know, I've been down there, get your occasional bottle or whatever. Nobody's complained to me, so that's usually like where I get the feedback is public would call.
Yeah.
To give me that feedback, or it comes internally from our grounds crews.
My sense in talking to them, it's from the general public, not from organized groups. that
Okay.
use it.
I would agree.
Okay.
I would agree, unless it's field space and then it's teams leaving things.
Right. And have there been any instances of one group wanting to use the outdoor space at the gazebo or the cabins and being upset that there was something else going on and they didn't have, it to themselves?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard that either, and I think when I do say to people, oh, we have a farm market going on, see if you can do that in the afternoon, they're completely flexible, and, I give them lots of options, what about next weekend, or what about, if you had your birthday party over by the playground or something, so, or I push the cabin, so I think it's trying to find something that will fit for everyone, and, they think about other places they haven't thought about before too, so.
I have, before, Paul was director, I've had that down at the gazebo, so we'll be having an event. And sometimes that pops in my head right away is 4th of July, so we would have it, reserved through the rec department to do the kitty parade, and we use the gazebo to take registration.
Right.
And then, someone else, gave the okay to use it for a band. And so it's like,
During the same time?
yeah, same time, but they didn't realize, the person that was giving the permission didn't realize there's a protocol to follow and you need to reserve it for the rec.
Okay.
So that's happened twice.
And Louise, you said though that was before Paula's time?
Yeah.
So has it been resolved now? In fact,
I don't know if it's been resolved. I resolved it was the selectman that did it, so I resolved it with that person.
it was before my time.
Yeah, that was before.
It's
None of
certainly
you, not you.
all of us here refer them to Paula. So
Yep.
I think maybe we've solved that.
That was a while ago, and so, but again, it's just, not understanding, the procedure, so that these kinds of things don't happen. Especially when you've got, a community event going on, it's always good to double check.
Mhm.
And not to make assumptions, but it got resolved, and they, had to tell the other people they had to come back later. So, worked out, but it just makes it an embarrassing situation.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Dave White, Briar Hill. I'm here for the farm market. Two things. One, I noticed the time is 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. Right now, we don't have any kind of alcohol person, even, well, actually, we do have a couple people interested in at least an occasional appearance. Shower Vineyards, used to be Mermaid Hill, they've come in the past, and she'd be this weekend. There's going to be tastings, and then I don't know if anyone remembers 3 or 4 years ago,
Oh, yeah.
kind of like their beginning, they were on, she would love to come back one, just kind of go for time's sake, just to do. But so it would be really nice if that 10 o'clock could be 9 o'clock since the farmer's market starts at 9. Other than that, I'm assuming sort of the current process wouldn't change in that it's not the farmer's market that's going to do these applications. It would be an individual vendor, the winery or the brewery would get a state license and do this town thing, or would they just get the state license and would we be responsible for doing the town application? In the past, when we've come for one-off permissions, it's been, I mean, we came to address it, but it was the responsibility of the vendor coming in to get the final okay from you guys and the state. But I'm just curious if that's going to stay that way or if we're going to split it.
My impression would be, and it's only my impression, that whoever's getting the permit from the state also needs to get it from the town. It can't be two different entities, I don't think.
But I mean, so if before that was the vendor, then I think that means that it would continue to be the vendor and you guys are not responsible for that.
Mhm.
And that's probably the precedent you prefer.
Yeah.
We'll definitely make sure we have all the information. Yeah.
I mean, your responsibility really would be to make sure they prove to you that they're permitted.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We'll do that.
Yeah. We have more people on the phone.
Oh, yeah. Anyone on Zoom? You can raise your hand if you'd like to speak. All right.
And Ian, just so you know, we already did the drawing and you guys get picked for one day, but I don't know which one.
Okay. So thank you all. That was it for the farmer's market? Okay. I don't have an issue with moving 10 to 9. Does anyone?
I think it
Problem with that?
makes sense.
Okay.
No, I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right, and then we will keep discussing this sort of idea of the reservations and deposit for outside spaces with Paula. What about thoughts on the concern Louise raised about beer and wine versus alcohol, like liquor?
I think we're making a big step right now that it makes sense to go with just beer and wine at this point.
Are they required to have a bartender?
Licensed person.
Yeah. Given that, I would disagree respectfully. Bartender that pours a drink with a shot, an ounce and a half shot, that's the equivalent of a 4-ounce glass of wine or a 12-ounce beer. One of those 15% beers. They're supposed to be equal. I mean, that's the whole point. So I mean, again, if they have a professional bartender, I think that's fine. If it's Stephen pouring, he poured at my house one night, it was terrible, so.
Terrible's in the eye of the beholder, by the way.
You didn't invite me, so.
You didn't seem like a Christmas inflatables guy, Ken.
I would also, hey, it's Anna. I would also just raise the issue of where does cider fall in the alcohol versus beer and wine, because that's definitely something very relevant to our town and the events that are being planned for the late summer.
Good point.
That makes me, I mean, Anna's point and Jeff's point make me feel like we don't necessarily need to limit it to beer and wine, because I kind of share that concern about how you define what is beer and what is wine. Because I was thinking of, in one of the instances that brought this to us was a champagne toast.
Right.
And I don't know necessarily where that falls, probably wine.
All
I
this
don't know.
new seltzer product.
I know.
Yeah,
And
and if there's a bartender who's got the reliability for serving,
and frankly, the liability and responsibility to do it right.
yeah, then, I think that, I guess I'm inclined to not limit it to just beer and wine.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. You can tell this ordinance was updated in the early 90s because they include wine coolers. But yes, there's all these like hard seltzers and things like that. And where do they fall? I don't know. Okay, so I think a majority of us are probably in agreement on that. We've got the flow sheet checklist we'll be working on.
I do agree that timeline or flow chart is a really good suggestion.
And just out of curiosity, when is the first concert scheduled for?
The first one is August 12th, I believe. It's the Tall Granite Big Band.
Okay, you better get your application in tomorrow then.
All right, I know, we need to get the town side, at least the state side is done. So get the town side started.
Good.
How long did the state side take you?
Yeah.
So I don't know, Leanne Vance has done this for a few years now. And she's also, in order to have that licensed person, they have to take a class, which is, they're probably scheduled not very frequently. And so I do think it is a timely, time-intensive process, but I'm not certain.
Okay, so any other concerns or thoughts on this ordinance?
I had one other one. and this is on the container ordinance document. There's a section of consumption on private property, and I couldn't recall what our intent was with that. Is it mainly to say that, you know, if we are only regulating town property, and so, you know, private property doesn't fall under this? It's on page 2, it's 3.3.
I thought the intent was that I couldn't go to your front yard and start drinking without your permission.
Right, but do we need this ordinance to
Oh, to-
say that? I mean, that's like,
This is the open container ordinance
Yeah.
also, which the police use
Hmm,
to
okay.
enforce
got it.
driving and all of that. So it
Okay.
is, the ordinance itself is beyond the scope of just town. property.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering that. Okay.
All right, anything
You know,
else?
is that chat box on Zoom a question from someone? Well,
Thank you.
sorry.
You know what I was gonna
I did not. I don't have it up on here.
Okay, so with the change of 10 AM to 10 PM under section 4, I think that's the only spot.
From 10 AM to 9 AM.
I'm sorry, what did I say? That's what I meant, 10 AM to 9 AM.
To 9 AM.
It's also on the policy, the town property policy document.
Yeah, so 10 AM will be brought down to 9 AM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So with that change, we vote on document tonight? Neil, we can, right? Okay.
Yeah, yes.
So we will close the public hearing. Thank you, everyone who joined us and offered thought.
It's not necessarily to that, I mean, it is, it's, when I remember reading through one of the documents from the Liquor Commissioner, it said something about, I think it was leading towards a site being catered, there were supposed to have been 2 bathrooms. So, do you remember reading anything? On that?
They have all their own standards and they need to meet those standards too. We don't necessarily need to repeat them here.
Well, I didn't know if we had to have like 2 porta johns at any particular place. I don't know if it's a requirement that we have to buy, I guess, I don't know, I'll look at that document
I
and,
think it just depends on the numbers,
okay,
where they are.
I'll try to find it. I didn't bring the folder of the document, but I'll pull it out and maybe, drop a copy out for you. It may have nothing to do with this, but I just remember somewhere back there, that it's about 2 bathrooms. So,
I will make a motion that we adopt the ordinance, the updated and revised ordinance, consumption on town property and application as we kind of further revise them in our discussions here today.
I'll second.
Do we have to do the open container thing too, Steve?
Do I have to do what? Sorry.
The open container one as well?
I just included them all,
Okay.
just so we didn't miss one. Got it?
All right, Stephen,
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
I mean, yes, Jeff,
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Excellent, okay. Thank you, everybody. So I think we've done everything for the public, and that leaves us with one non-public. So
Very
we
efficient.
will say goodbye to everybody, and after our non-public,
Thank
we
you.
will adjourn. Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks
Thank you.
to people who joined us. Okay, so we need a motion to go into non-public.
Sure, move we go into non-public under RSA 91A:3, Roman 2, little d, leasing of property.
Second.
All right, Stephen,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes?
yes, Jeff, Anna.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we will shut everything down and after this, we will adjourn. Thank you, Robin.